people behind me on this stage, it turned into something extremely special. And I've got to start by acknowledging our victim, Amanda. You know, only 20 years old. She's driving down the road at 4 o'clock in the morning, pitch black. Her car goes off the road, goes into a ditch, overturns, and she realizes she's in some type of water. And you could hear on the audio tape how calm, cool, and collected she was. There's not many people that would be able to do that time of morning, that happening. You could hear in the audio the water's rising to her chest, to her chin, and yet she remains calm, cool, and collected. I just found out a very interesting story from her family, which I'll let them tell. But this is something she had practiced and thought about and how to prepare herself. And that's what more people need to do. Think about these situations and what you can do, because she saved her own life today by giving herself time for the deputies to get there. But Amanda, again, as I told you before, I commend you for your bravery, your calm and coolness, and you should be extremely proud of yourself. I also want to recognize our dispatcher, Cheyenne. The dispatchers, you don't understand, are in a room where all they have is their headset and computer screens. They're looking at maps and calls. They don't know what exactly is going on. They know what they're getting from the victim. And Cheyenne did a great job working with Amanda to make sure she remained calm, trying to find out where she was. And Amanda even had the forethought to look on her own phone to Google where she was. But the dispatchers, it's very frustrating for them because they want to be there, they want to help, and they can't see what the deputies are doing. They know they're out there, they know the deputies are searching, the helicopter's up, but it's extremely frustrating for them. But she remained calm and took in her training and did what she was supposed to. And again, we could not be more proud of what you did on that call. You helped in saving her life. And then our 3 deputies behind me. I will be brief because I know it's them that you want to talk to, but their efforts, what they did that night, goes beyond words. They jumped into that water. We don't know what's in the water that we jump in here in Florida. There's alligators, there's different things. They didn't give it one moment's thought. They jumped in with the only intent of saving their lives, whether it compromised their lives or what they were doing. They took those efforts and saved Amanda's lives. Again, when you listen to that audio, it is chilling. The water's coming up to her chest, to her neck, to her face. She was moments away from potentially dying, and the efforts that they did saved her life. So on behalf of Sheriff Chronister and the 3,500 men and women at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, we thank you guys for what you did that day. It was extremely brave, and it turned this into a special moment. And then I think we'll turn it over to
First of all, thank you so much to the gentleman at Hillsborough Sheriff's Office. The worst thing that any parent could imagine is getting a phone call at 4 o'clock in the morning with your daughter crying, saying, "I fell into a ditch and they're taking me to Tampa General Hospital." At that moment, we were actually getting ready to go to bed because we just finished celebrating New Year's. And immediately we sprung up and got our clothes on and left. As we're passing down the road, we see 13 police officers, cars and trucks, and the first thing I thought was like, "Wow, that's a horrible accident over there." And little did I know it was my little Amanda that was there. So it's just this whole last 3 days has just been amazing. These guys back here, they're truly angels. I know there's a lot of negative press on the sheriffs, but I do want to stress that they are the unsung heroes of our community. And we do need to be able to remember that every day they do something great for everybody. So if I had to wake up early today and any other day just to shout that out, I'm happy to do so, because what they did was save my little girl's life, and I owe them everything. So thank you so much to these gentlemen back here, and as well as the dispatch for keeping her cool and keeping my baby calm, and I'm so proud of her, because I just can't believe how well she handled the whole situation. Just a fast story. 3 months ago, she's infatuated watching 911 emergency and all these type of shows. And she tells me, Dad, I know how to get out of a sinking car, if the car was ever to go into the water. So I go, no, you don't. I say, you know what? Prove it. So we go to the car and we did it 3 times. And I remember telling her, the most important part of this whole thing is that you keep calm. Little did I know that this day would come. So I'm just so happy that we prepared and it happened, and that we had these angels behind us that was able to take care of us. So I'm just so thankful, so grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for the 911 lady to keep Amanda calm. Without that, I think that she would have freaked out, definitely. And knowing that the water was coming up and what was her last thoughts, I wouldn't know. But also for the officers, the divers, everyone, the emergency, helicopters, the ambulance, everyone came in together not knowing who she is and actually didn't care and helped her. I want to thank them so much, not to, to bring her home back to me. That's my main thing. Thank you again, Amanda. I'm so blessed to have you. And thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you to the dispatch lady and everyone who helped me that night, the fire rescue, the dive team, the police officer standing behind me. Like I told the dispatch lady, she was the first angel that I met that night, and she brought everyone else to me. I don't think I would have been able to make it without them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to be an anesthesiologist. I go to HCC in Hillsborough Community College, and I study pre-med.
My name is Julio Perez. Yeah. Julio. Yes.
I don't even know.
Her birthday's
Eating.
Saturday.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. Probably going to eat, watch a movie. I'm not sure.
When we first got there, the dispatch obviously notified the dive team. As soon as we got there, patrol deputy was already on scene. I'd already said that he is, we had still have a victim in the car. At that time, I grabbed my air tank, not knowing how much of an air pocket she still had available. Deputy Pollock and myself entered the water, or mud, not really water. Got to the vehicle, could see, I grabbed my asp and tried prying open that driver's side door. Only got it open about 6 inches, 8 inches. Was not going to get in that door. Asked Jeremy to go around to the passenger door to open it up, and he was able to open up and get her out of that vehicle.
How long did the entire rescue team start to arrive?
Total, I would say less than 10 minutes by the time we actually got on scene to getting her out of the vehicle. And it was, when I say mud, it was like quicksand mud. You sink in and it doesn't want to let you go. So Amanda would absolutely not have gotten out of that vehicle on her own. But she did everything right, and she was calm. She's the reason she's alive today.
Would the water have kept rising through the car?
It depends, in that it could have, because of the false bottom in that ditch. Definitely could have kept sinking, and it could have easily, overtaken her.
I did panic for a good 15 seconds. I tried to open the door and nothing was working, so I couldn't find my phone. It was underwater somewhere. I didn't know where, so I used my Apple Watch to ping my phone, and that's when I heard it ringing underwater, and I was on 5%, and I didn't know, do I call my mom first? Who do I call? And like my dad said, I watch a lot of 911, So I was like, well, let me call 911. Yeah. Yeah, like when I showed him, when I was like, oh, I could get out of a sinking car, and I showed him, the car was like right side up. So I was like, oh, you just pull down the back seat, go through the trunk, pop the trunk open, and you jump out. But the car was upside down, and I couldn't get to the trunk, so that I didn't prepare for an upside down car. To stay calm, have faith, keep hope. These two. Thank you. I really didn't have any words. It just felt surreal. Like I didn't. The whole situation just felt surreal. She definitely kept me calm through the whole thing. Cause until I heard her voice, I was panicked. I I I felt like I wasn't going to make it. And her voice calmed me down because she was so calm.
No, I mean, we couldn't see her, and honestly, hearing her was very limited. In that scenario with the mud, and you just got to get inside the vehicle if you know she's inside there and get her out. And you couldn't hear or see anything. As a dive team, that's what we're used to. So. Fortunately, the divers, there was already a patrol deputy on scene with his lights on, so we immediately said that's where we're going. So we didn't travel that much.
I went in, took my belt off first, but yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Initially it just comes up to your knees, but once you take that step, it comes all the way up to your waist. It was kind of difficult to navigate. Honestly, not too long. I started at 301 and went to Dr. King and came back at Dr. King, and one deputy stayed straight on I-4. I saw another deputy take 301 south exit, and so I stayed on 301 north and just happened to see her. There was smoke coming from the front of the vehicle. The vehicle was just completely overturned, and you can really only see half of it, and you're just kind of looking at the undercarriage of a vehicle. I'm honestly not 100% sure. It could be that could be correct. Um, Based on what dispatch is relaying to us, we need to find her. I'm hearing from my dispatcher that what she's telling them, that the water's coming up and it's just rising slowly more and more, and it's becoming more and more imperative that we locate this vehicle. Yes, ma'am. Of course. I mean, we're talking about another person. It's not just a dog in the water. Or not that our furry friends aren't lovable as well, but I mean we're talking about a human life here, and the imperativeness of finding that person is becoming more and more important. If you guys have done some water rescues before, how is this different from previous water rescues?
I actually have not. I'll turn that over to them.
All the water rescues we've done prior to this one, as far as myself and Deputy Pollock, she walked away from this one. So that's the number one difference. I mean, I was amazed that she was alive, honestly. You look at the accident and, the depth and how disgusting and thick that was. I was surprised she was alive. But amazed.
I'm sorry, it was relieving for me. 'Cause, at first, I wasn't able to hear. Pardon me. At first, I wasn't able to hear her, and it was a little stressful, to say the least, to not hear the voice of the person that we're trying to get to. So, I mean, initially, I requested them to kind of expedite their response, based on not being able to hear her. Eventually, she was able to project, and I was able to hear her, so that certainly calmed me down as well.
Um, it was definitely, I definitely felt relieved. I'm like, finally someone's here. I'm gonna make it out alive, because I did start to lose hope, and I just came to terms that I might not make it out. So when I heard his voice and I started hearing them try to open the door, that's when I started to feel relieved, and I just can't be more grateful and thankful for their help. No, because all the windows are underwater and it was muddy, so I couldn't see anything. The only light I had was like from the radio and buttons in the car lighting up. When they opened the door, I kind of moved my body closer to the door and they pulled me out. No, I just like slid over. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I knew I had to keep calm to keep her calm, so I just had to keep it together. Lots of training. Lots of training. Had a good trainer, so I was able to keep it together. Um, at one point in the call, she stopped talking for like a good 30 seconds, and I didn't hear deputies in the background yet. I knew they were nearby, but when she stopped talking to me, I felt my whole body just sink into my chair. But I heard her say hello, hello, and then I heard a deputy talking in the background, and that made me feel really good. So, but it was a stressful situation, and I'm glad it turned out the way it did. So.
I was coming from a New Year's Eve party at my boyfriend's uncle's house.